Alrighty, welcome to Weather Watchers on this Wednesday afternoon. Weather Watchers Wednesday.
Hump Day Wednesday, sliding down to the weekend.
The rain moving out too.
Yeah, so
with another round for some of you on the way.
Yeah, I think we get through kind of the afternoon drive times. Get dry. Thank goodness, here over some rain still falling in St. Augustine at this hour, but moving out quickly. And yeah, by Thursday morning, some people might actually have a couple showers during that morning commute.
Same thing, watching that same area like St. Augustine again.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to that. By the way, I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. That is Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner.
Good to see everybody.
You have joined us for our 4:30 Weather Watcher stream, and I have an agenda for us today, Lou.
Well, let me get your agenda.
Look at that background.
Wait.
That's going to hint at things we're talking about.
Sure is.
So we have rain on radar.
Yep.
Like you mentioned, we're going to talk about the rain, the frigid air that's moving in behind it. Even tomorrow afternoon is going to be cold.
It's going to be cold tomorrow. And so we're going to have frigid wind chills through our afternoon tomorrow. Even 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, when we typically be hitting our high temperatures, it's going to feel like the 30s in southeast Georgia, around 40 here in northeast Florida. So chilly.
We want you to be prepared for that. Dress
Absolutely.
Appropriately tomorrow before you step out the door, and then even worse, Friday morning.
You want to talk snow?
Did you just say the S word?
Snow.
What?
Say the S word out loud.
Who said it? He said it.
Let's embrace it, because I'm just live scrolling my X feed, and of course my feed is going to be heavily based in meteorology anyway, because I follow a bunch of meteorologists. But let's just go through the last 10 posts I've seen. This is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 10 posts are in fact about snow and models that you'll see, and people sharing models, and could it snow in Florida? So let's answer the question. And to be perfectly transparent with you, we're not going to be able to answer the question yes or no just yet, but we're going to talk about likelihoods of maybe some southeast Georgia.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance, 100%.
We will talk
all
about
this 1 in a million talk we've got going on here.
But first, let's talk about the rain, because that's actively what people are dealing with right now. We got some pretty blue skies out there, finally, for some.
Yes, kind of this in-between. So what started the rain today, that it's not the front necessarily. We got to wait for the wind shift to really happen. Kind of a pulse of energy that's ahead of this front. We've had a pretty complex synoptic scenario happening in the atmosphere. We had this low come off of southeast Florida, dragging up a surface trough, and so it dug up some showers, a little bit of enough moisture to get the rain going through this midday time frame. And timing, thankfully, kind of working out to where it's not going to really massively impact our evening commute, though I want you to use extra caution if you are about to head out the door down 95 to St. Augustine here over the next 30 to 45 minutes, as some of those showers will be exiting and moving off the coast. But the front itself back further to the west, which we saw kind of in the wider picture, that's where the cold air resides. And you see back towards Montgomery and Atlanta, even look up towards the Smokies and parts of the Appalachian Mountains, seeing some snow at higher elevations starting to get picked up there. And so we've got some cold air back behind this front that has been swinging like a gate. It was kind of oriented up east to west, kind of parallel from Cincinnati to St. Louis when we were talking last night, and now it's kind of swung down a little bit on that low that's up towards the Great Lakes, and that, Lee, is what's going to ultimately cross and bring us our cold temperatures for Friday morning.
And that's also why we might have a few showers again for some of you tomorrow morning as the actual front does move through. But you're talking about temperatures, so a quick look at our temperatures right now. 50s. It's definitely chillier than yesterday.
Yeah.
Feeling cooler out there if you're about to maybe head out the door. If you have some dinner plans, these temperatures will be dropping through the 50s. And as mentioned, some of you not done with the rain just yet. So it looks like we could even have another little shower, light rain moving through our southern areas overnight. 1-2 o'clock. This model has been consistent in showing the rain for the overnight hours, and then some lingering into the early morning hours. If you're a morning commuter and you're around sunrise or earlier, that's when we could have some of that rain falling, Lou. But then I do think the wind is going to
Yeah.
have a lot of that evaporate. Any sort of standing water, that wind's going to start to pick up and
Yeah,
evaporate it.
absolutely. Got windy conditions and much drier air pushing in behind this front, which lends itself to quicker cooling, and also those winds just going to make it feel brutal. So we're talking about for our day Thursday with highs of just 52. Low temperature in the morning, 45. So we're not warming up through the day much, right? So even and those high temperatures might be hit kind of early in the day, earlier than you'd think, with northeast winds at 15 to 25 and gusts to 30. Now that front's finally crossed, all rushing in out of the northwest, and I mean high temperatures just fighting to hit the 40s in Waycross and Brunswick. So the whole day will be spent in the 40s. And really Jacksonville, where we're seeing 52, most of the day is going to be spent in the 40s. So most of your life is going to be lived in the 40s with wind chills even cooler than that. So taking a look kind of at that forecast.
Yeah, and then so these wind
3
chills,
o'clock.
I mean, 30s and 40s all day tomorrow. I've been talking about it. That's our job, to keep talking about it. This is my third stream of the day where we've mentioned it, and still I'm like trying to process. You need your heaviest jacket tomorrow. Like, you need your coat tomorrow all day. And then,
Agreed.
Lou, of course, our temperatures do drop, and we do have the weather impact alert in effect for Friday morning. I think we should take a quick break right now. I think this is a good place to pause.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we're going to talk about temperatures in the 20s. The 20s. Not only Friday morning, but teasing again. It could happen again on our 7-day. It is on our
Yeah.
7-day again. So
A couple of times. Winter is fully here. We'll be right back after this short break.
I am staring at these wind chills, and I am just like, you know, when you just think too hard about it and you feel it, like you feel
100%
so cold.
psychosomatic, and it's cold in this room. So I think
Thank
it's
you.
just
Yes, it is
doubly,
cold in this
just
room.
doubly adding to it. But yeah, wind chills for Friday now. Air temperatures
Yeah, let me-
are kind of, because the winds do start to die down a bit Friday morning, right?
So I show the wind chills for coastal areas.
Yep.
So you see how along
Yes.
the beaches we're in the 30s. I want you to know that you're still going to feel like the 20s. But then for those of you inland,
Yeah.
I mean, the wind chills aren't doing you justice. They're kind of bringing you in colder.
Yeah.
Your actual air temperature could be 22 in Waycross.
Yeah. So this is hard freeze here. This means several hours spent below that 27 degree line, meaning Waycross, Folkestone, Brunswick. I mean, parts of northern Duval County, Nassau County, and out in Baker and Columbia counties. This is protecting the pipes type of weather. So we want you, the action needs to be taken Thursday night before you go to bed, where you're maybe dripping a few faucets there around the house, wrapping pipes and keeping them good and insulated, because this is all the P's, the people, the pets, the plants, the pipes, etc. And so we're going to, and heat safety, of course.
5 P's.
All of them. You know, I keep forgetting if there's 4 or 5 P's, but that the one that sneaks up on me is
I
remembering.
decided there's 5.
Yeah, remembering the practice of fire and heating safety, because we want to know, making sure your space heater is far enough away from items, your walls, etc., and you're not leaving them on when you leave a room, things like that. But all the protection and being prepared by Thursday afternoon and evening for Friday morning's frigid temperatures, and that overnight is when some damage can be done to plants and things like that. And as you get up and you're sending the kids to school one more day for the school week, they know that every, kind of what I think is essentially every winter piece of clothing that you've ever bought probably needs to be on the kid.
And so check this out.
Okay.
So we have our freeze watch in
enticed.
effect.
Yes.
For all of the First Coast.
Yes.
Did you see how far south it goes?
It's way down south.
Oh, it went further.
Even
It's now out
further.
of my.
Yeah,
Wow,
so
look
it
at
goes
that.
all the way down to Alligator Alley. We're going to be on iguana alert.
Yep,
Absolutely
falling
falling iguanas for South Florida.
I got a temperature map for across Florida. Let's see what it's saying. For lows, Friday morning, Port St. Lucie, close to freezing. Cape
Yeah.
Coral.
I don't know how Miami's going to deal with 44 and Key West 55. I mean, just frigid for them.
My friends who live in Miami don't own clothing for 44.
Right. You just kind of, I guess, have to stay in the house or just running that heat. I'm telling you, rare to have to do. But, going back to that freeze watch and those low temperatures locally, the low air temperatures, one of the points you need to make here is this is such cold air and such strong advection happening, it's going to go all the way out to the beach. So look at Mayport, St. Augustine, St. Simons. We'll be thinking about Fernandina Beach, all potentially getting to that 32-degree point. So it's not often that we get the freeze all the way east of the intracoastal waterways, right? So we're including you. The beaches are in this for the air temperatures getting to that freeze point Friday morning. And since and it's also kind of rare to see that freeze watch go all the way to the beaches in Northeast Florida too. We've seen it a couple times in Southeast Georgia for St. Simons, but to get all the way to the beach, that's brutal. And this will be the coldest morning of the season so far.
Yes.
By
it
a few
will-
degrees.
But yeah, isn't that crazy? Not by 1 or 2, but like a
Yeah.
good number. And for the inland spots, I mean, I think we're going to have widespread frost because you said, as you mentioned, the winds are dropping down. So when you have lower wind, you have frost. So I think we're going to have widespread frost inland. Beaches, I think your protected areas that don't feel the breeze, you'll have frost develop as well. But where it is breezy, I mean, it's worse. It feels worse because that's where your wind chill's in the 20s. So you see 30s on the map, that's worse enough. But it just continues to drop down to feels like temperatures. Again, I think it was coming up 28, 27. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your feels like temperatures for the coast. And then I quickly jump off of this because the inland spots.
Right.
I mean, it says 28 at the airport. And I do personally, like 22 in Waycross versus mid-20s. For some, that's the pipe threshold
Oh, yeah.
for some pipes. So that's what you got to prepare for, the 22 in Waycross.
For sure.
23 in Folkestone.
Clear skies,
Plenty.
light winds, that cold air is in place, so a true radiational cool in the evening, those temperatures will drop fast. So it'll kind of hit like a sack of bricks as you wake up and head out the door the first time on Friday morning. So we'll be ready for that. But look at this bounce back Saturday. It's kind of an interesting little sandwich day between our parade of fronts.
It is. So the morning's freezing Saturday again.
Yeah.
So Thursday afternoon, 50s, but feeling like the 40s.
Yep.
Friday mornings are coldest. Friday afternoon, still in the 50s. Still,
Yep.
whew. But then Saturday, it's freezing in the morning. And then the afternoon, I mean, that is going to feel noticeably warmer.
Oh, yeah. Saturday, it's almost going to be, you're going to be deceived. You're going to think to yourself, oh, we're back to that we had that fake winter and we're back to the January spring temperatures, because some spots will be in the 70s too. We're going to that official high 69 at Jacksonville International Airport, but certainly southern areas could hit 70, 71. So look at that. I'm not going to tell you what that looks like to me.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks like an
So the
obscene
weather is
gesture.
telling us something.
The single finger salute that I give people when they're cutting me off in traffic. No, I would never do that. But it is kind of fitting, isn't it?
It
That
is.
Saturday
It's like,
climbs
so
to
you
69, and yeah, you thought you were getting warmed back up, but no. And then Sunday is, I think, what we want to kind of tease ahead to
Yes.
when we mentioned in the beginning snow potential.
I said, watching Southeast Georgia,
The mystery now, because look at so do we want to get in this now, or do we want to take a...
We got to hit a break,
Well,
and then we're going to talk all about snow. You said it. She
Yeah.
said it, so I'm
Yeah.
going to say it. He
So
said
we'll say it. So we'll be right back. Stay there.
Lou,
Yeah.
is it going to snow?
All right. Good question. That's the question I've gotten today. I've had it 5 or 6 times. I've had people texting. I've had people messaging on Facebook, and folks around the newsroom. So it's a good question. Listen, we are just about 1 year exactly from the time
Yeah.
we had record snow in the Panhandle of Florida, and saw some snow up in Waycross and Blackshear as you and Robert were up there in it. We have more and more model consensus today indicating the potential for some wintry weather in the form of snow and some sleet for parts of our first coast, and specifically highlighting southeast Georgia. So this is the very latest European model run, and previous models have not been so bullish, but we're seeing a little bit of consensus from both your main kind of models that we talk about a lot. And this is akin to hurricane season when we're comparing the Euro and the GFS and who's faster, who's slower. So let's kind of hone in on if you just kind of want to look at the colors. So remember that sleet is the enemy of snow. So sleet can kind of take over the whole thing. That's where you're seeing those shades of pink, and more likely than not, the Ware and Pierce County would see that morning. This would be early Sunday morning into the afternoon hours. Even this is showing it even into 3 o'clock with a cold air column. Some have been earlier, some have been later. So we've got to watch speed.
And that's not a high res model, so it's
Right.
probably earlier
Yeah.
than 3.
And generally what the models will show is accumulation for previous hours. So this
Yeah.
could be how much has happened in the 6 hours prior. to 3 o'clock as well. So there's a European model. Certainly Sunday we've got highlighted as a weather impact alert day, if nothing else, because of the rain chance for many of us. Sunday morning for our church plans, brunch plans, things like that. But cold air will be coming in at least in the layers of the atmosphere above the surface. Now we get close to surface, we're calling for a low temperature in Jacksonville of 38.
Yeah.
So that's a little warm to get it all the way to the ground here. But back in southeast Georgia, we'll be closer to the freeze point. Not necessarily seeing that freeze, but the column of the atmosphere is cold enough and below freezing a little deeper, then certainly we could see something.
And when we start thinking about, okay, could it happen? We look for, like you said, we're model comparisons
Yep.
and agreement between models.
Yep.
And so this is the European, and this is the GFS.
Yeah.
I think it's way too bullish.
A little aggressive.
Yes.
And again, we might be hinting back at how this is a lower resolution model.
Right.
Meaning the kind of grid is a little bit bigger that they're drawn in. So you might get, the grid itself for a certain area might overrun into a different county or a different area. But what's consistent is both models for Sunday morning painting the potential for some wintry precip and seeing some flakes. And this would indicate I-10 and north all the way into southeast Georgia for the GFS run.
So when we have the agreement between models, we're going to also need to make sure this stays consistent between model runs.
Yeah, hour
so
to
there's
hour.
still a lot of uncertainty, because to get something like this, to get wintry precip, we know we have the cold air, we know we have rain, we need the cold air to catch up to the rain.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot that can change between now and Sunday. The timing, if that rain speeds up, the cold air slows down, it has to match perfectly in order to get some sort of winter weather out of this. So a lot could change. So when I say, Lou, is it going to snow? The honest answer is we don't know yet. We are saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Especially when we have these two models agreeing on it. It has our attention. We're watching it very closely. And Robert Spetta brought up something interesting in one of our previous streams today, where if you go on just the random weather app on your phone, it says it's in Waycross.
Yeah.
It's trying to tell you it's going to snow on Sunday.
Yeah.
And all they do, those apps, not our app, but those apps, it's raw model data. So it's what you're seeing here too. But
yeah, the cold air has to get there first, right? So you got to have hours and hours of cold air earlier, and the rain or precip that would fall into that cold air and move into that cold air would come down to snow. So we'll certainly watch this. This is something to watch. This is not kind of one or two model anomalies. This is starting to kind of line up over several runs in what Lee mentioned, timing, because we'll get one in the evening, we'll get one in the morning, kind of get one midday, and it's starting to kind of line up run to run.
it is, that's why it really has our attention. But we still have to get through our first front. It still has to move. Our first one has to move through tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And then we have this next front why we're going to watch this closely. But we have 2 weather impact alerts, and Friday mornings is going to be for temperatures in the 20s, just brutally cold air. Mm-hmm. Sunday morning for widespread rain and maybe a little bit of
wintry precip.
Yeah, and then Monday morning too, though, even though it's not highlighted, I just want to call people's attention to it. Another morning in the 20s.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be an adjustment we make. We look at Monday morning, when you're in the 20s, and we may even drop that temperature still as more information comes in, because that's the temperatures as much as winter precip kind of dependent on getting closer to time with better modeling. So we'll watch that. That may require us all kind of being prepared again and taking more action as we wake up Monday morning. But the big takeaway with this 7-day forecast is winter has arrived. We are out of the flirting with 80s type of condition like we saw this past Saturday. We were breaking records. The Friday before that, breaking heat records. Now we're getting into the cold that sticks and the cold that lasts. So we're talking about Friday morning freeze, Saturday morning freeze. Sunday morning won't quite be a freeze for Jacksonville, but inland southeast Georgia could see a freeze. Monday morning a freeze. Tuesday morning a freeze. Wednesday, that's 6 consecutive mornings of temperatures at or below freezing. We haven't seen anything like that yet this winter season. So buckle up.
It's going to be brutal.
It's going to be cold.
I don't like the cold.
Us Florida kids, we don't know about this, but we'll kind of be prepared and brace ourselves. So hope you'll continue kind of streaming along with us. We're going to be doing a lot of extra